Intro. The beauty of His creation, the superiority of His power, His loving hand, which guides those who are in relationship with Him. The entire Bible is about a personal relationship with Him. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. Every hair on our head has been numbered by Him, and He knows your name. But do you know His? His desire is for His creation to worship Him in relationship with Him. He doesn't care about riches, status, race. He cares about you, and He wants to know you, and you to know Him. He is the El Shaddai, Almighty God, my Master Adonai, a heavenly being, Eloah or Elohim. Yes, we can even call Him Lord. But none of these are names. These are titles, attributes, descriptors, not names. And some titles have replaced His actual one and only name almost 7,000 times in modern Bibles. Does that matter? As if He doesn't have a name at all, but only attributes, only titles? No. God has one name, and it has never changed. Not in letters, and certainly not in pronunciation, ever. No introduction of new languages changes the way that the name of God is pronounced. Ever. What do you think Adam's first word was? Likely the name of God. Though obscured, it has remained the same, and by the end of this video, you will know exactly how to pronounce it. Just as Abraham, Adam, Noah, Moses, and even the Messiah spoke His name, and will prove all of those. We are the God Culture, a group of independent researchers with no affiliation to any denomination nor organization whatsoever. We read the Word and we test it as 1 Thessalonians 5:21 tells us, prove all things, hold fast that which is good. We do not intend to be confrontational, but to compare what the Bible really says versus the traditions of men which Jesus Himself rebuked. Jesus said to the Pharisees, full well ye reject the commandment of God, that ye may keep your own tradition. Mark 7:9. This is our journey through the Word of God, and we are restoring the name of God in our worship. This is a quick and simple video in which you will know the accurate pronunciation of the name of God, and it's not debatable. And then we'll show you who changed it 7,000 times and continues to change it today, offering new variations all the time, and even going back to reconfirm old ones that were already nonsense and proven such before. We will iron this all out in this series, and you will leave it understanding this is the message of our time. The name of God is right there in front of our eyes, and it is being obscured with frankly nonsense. We'll explain many differing opinions throughout this series and show you their progressions, and yes, even how that has literally changed the Bible. Yes, we mean literally. We know some are KJV only and believe there are no errors, but sorry, replacing the one and only name of God 7,000 times is inexcusable and most certainly error. We use the King James Version ourselves and stand strongly behind its accuracy when you read it in parallel with the Hebrew and the Greek. The Bible says, prove all things, not just everything, but the things you want to believe. No. We offer the truth in this conversation and encourage you to prove everything we say as well, because this is our responsibility as believers. We are to prove all things, not through our pastors, leaders, scholars, or even the God culture, but for ourselves, lest we be deceived. And in this age, we do not hesitate in saying, if you do not know the word for yourself, you will most certainly be deceived. So, here we go. Time to know the name of God. In Qumran, which we prove is the home of John the Baptist, not the Essenes, who are really Kabbalists, who lived 25 miles south of there. Check out the original Canon series. That is fascinating. But all but one book of the modern Old Testament was found in about a dozen caves dating back to as far as 300 BC. For those scholars who then take that and assume the Bible was not written until 300 BC, remember, the position of the scribe was to copy over the scrolls every so many years, and no, they did not make mistakes. Scribal errors are stupid. No real true scribe who spends their entire life understanding the portion of the Bible, the scrolls that they're responsible for not transliterating, but literally copying over the exact same, for you to say that they made errors, that is one of the most ludicrous of all statements. They had not lost their language. That's also nonsense, including in the time of Messiah, as the Dead Sea Scrolls prove. We agree the original language of the Pharisees was in fact Aramaic, but Messiah and most of the Hebrews retained Hebrew, at least to a point. And he was no Pharisee, and neither was John the Baptist, nor Essene for that matter. They confuse that in as well, and we do obliterate that. In case you haven't read, he spoke Hebrew, and his name is Hebrew, not Greek. But we'll get to that too, because we have a video coming up there as well. This script is ancient Paleo-Hebrew on the screen, which reads right to left, and the name of God is right there in black and white. This is just a paragraph which includes the actual name of God in Isaiah, and doesn't say Lord, it says his name, his personal sacred name, his one and only name, in this one paragraph 6 times. So, the name mattered to Isaiah and to the writers of the Bible, and it should matter to us. His name, by the way, did not change in the New Testament. Additionally, they have also found the name of God inscribed in other applications as well. On the top right is an inscription from 600 BC, and on the bottom right, from 840 BC. See, archaeology does support this, and it goes way back. You will find this to be consistent for thousands of years, up until a point which we will cover and show you exactly how it was changed, who changed it, and why. And no, there is no possible intention of removing the name of God, which is remotely sensible. But we'll show you their side too. And this is no mystery. You will leave this video knowing how to pronounce this name. Note, ancient Hebrew is not modern Hebrew. There is a massive difference, as modern Hebrew has infused another language. It's okay, but when you apply it and only it without going back and looking at the ancient Hebrew, it can be deceiving and misunderstood. You cannot always apply modern Hebrew to the sounds and letters of ancient Hebrew because they have been added to. Again, that's okay, but we need to understand when interpreting the Bible and understanding pronunciations, it's important to understand this differentiation. Now, we'll cover this, but note, early Hebrew began with pictographs in which each letter has meaning of their own, and that practice has continued as well. You see the Middle Hebrew, which is the Paleo-Hebrew text we just showed you on the last screen, and the late Ancient Hebrew, in which the letters are pretty much the same in appearance as modern Hebrew, but there have been changes in pronunciation, and this could confuse someone, especially if they're only applying modern Hebrew to this discussion, and they're ignoring the ancient pronunciations. This is an ancient word, so we need to use the ancient pronunciations. That's all. It's very simple. Also, this chart is actually from a Jewish organization who runs ancient-hebrew.org. You can go there for yourself and check it out. You can download this chart and others, and this is pretty self-explanatory, but we're going to use this for purposes of this conversation. Now, for the name of God. The first letter is Yod. You may have heard the modern pronunciation Yod, but this is an ancient word. In fact, the most ancient. We are dealing with the very name of God here, which has no origin, as He has no origin. Remember that. That's why He said, I am that I am, or I am who I am, or I will be who I will be. The point of that phrase, no matter how it's interpreted, is He is differentiating Himself from all other supposed gods in the category of Elohim gods, which just means heavenly being. That's all. Angels fall in that category. Actually, they do, and it's legitimate to use Elohim to refer to an angel as well. Again, that is only a title, a heavenly being. That's all. That's not a name. That's not His name. That's why He said to Moses, tell them I am who I am. He was saying exactly that. Again, that's not a name. It is a descriptor of who He is. So those that go back and say, oh, well, His name is only because He only uses it one time in the whole Bible, and that is His name. Well, 7,000 times He uses a name that He tells you is His name. He doesn't say that's His name. Moses asks His name. He doesn't answer with His name. He answers with a descriptor so that He can clarify, this is who I am. I am the God who was never created by anyone. I have always been and I will always be. See, that differentiates Him from El and Yahweh and all of those pagan god names. Yes, those are pagan god names. But again, He is not in that class. He is a God. He is the God, all unto Himself. He created all things. No angel ever did, nor ever will. They manipulated His creation, yes, but they can't create. So, you find this letter, look in the brown section for ancient Hebrew, ancient Semitic and Hebrew, not the modern section, which we'll cover even exactly when those kinds of things came about as we cover the history, and we will. You find this letter carries a Y sound or E, okay? But we'll clarify that. It's Y in this instance, And we will support that so overwhelmingly that no one will be able to debate it. So notice it's not J. Do you see J on this chart? Look up and down the chart. Do you see any letters in the Hebrew sections? Look in the ancient Hebrew, go all the way down. Do you see a J? Do you see anything that produces a J sound? No. Look in the modern. Do you see a J? No. Anything that produces a J sound? No. There is no J in ancient Hebrew. In fact, look across. Do you see a J in Greek? No. Why? There is no J in Greek. Ancient Greek had no J letter nor sound. And if we had Aramaic on this chart, you will find still no J. It took Latin to introduce the J, but we'll show you that didn't even happen in ancient Latin, because ancient Latin did not have a J until about 1500 AD, long after the Bible was written. So applying a J in any instance, no matter what it is inappropriate, and we will get to that. So no J applies in this name, period, ever. Next is hey, which has the H or ah sound. We have a consonant to start the word, Y, so it's ah. See, we do not need vowels to read ancient Hebrew. We'll cover this. Vowel points, too, were not added till around 1000 AD or so. They have no application to the most ancient of names, nor did the people who added the vowel points claim to know the pronunciation of God. And we'll cover that as well. And we'll prove it completely. So, the first two letters form the sound Yah. Notice, not Y or you or yo or any other sound. It's Yah. Very simple. Those sounds aren't there in ancient Hebrew, are they? Nope. Now the elusive Wah. No. Look at the chart. There was no Vav nor V in ancient Hebrew. So whenever you're hearing Yod, no, it's Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey, that's modern Hebrew being applied to an ancient Hebrew word. That's going to be wrong most of the time. You have to look into these things. And the people that are using it, oh, they're well aware, and we'll show you. We'll show you where those sounds originated, and it's not Vav, it's Wah. And it denotes a W, O, or U sound. See on the chart? No V. We are going to show you several examples which prove the precedent for the name of God is U, not O and not W in this instance. So, first three letters are Yahoo, Yod, Hey, Wah. Yeah, we know in English that is a word of ridiculed meaning, as Yahoo is a crazy person, right? Well, that's no coincidence. That's called profanity and taking the Lord's name in vain. See, they do that often. Or, even better, there is actually a search engine which makes the claim of being Yahoo. Yep, they do mean God. And their founders are well aware of the meaning of that name. You'll find Hebrew words in many applications of society today. And when you look at their meanings, wow. These are not coincidences. One thing we already see for sure on this letter is it may be U or O or W, right? But it is definitely not V. And it's especially not OV, because that requires two letters, not one. It's not Av. So, we're going to prove, indisputably, this is a U. The fourth and final letter is another He. And once again, we are going to prove it is the Ah sound, not just an H, but no matter what anyone tells you, this letter does not mean ew or or oh. None of those. And it doesn't mean that one time and then the other time that it's used in the very same word. That's just ignorant of the way this is used in Scripture, which we will show you in detail in the next video. So you can see this is a very basic, simple, and yes, phonetic pronunciation in which no vowel points nor extra letters need to be added. You can sound it out with no need for adding vowels. YHWH. And so did the patriarchs. And we will prove they pronounced this name this way. See, every sound is represented without the need for gymnastics and acrobatics in scholarship. This is the way the Bible functions. It was written for you and me, the common man, and it was never intended to produce an upper paradigm of a small control group which can be easily controlled themselves, then resulting in controlling you. We have but one mediator, and it's not our pastors, scholars, and definitely not Mary or the saints, but John 14:6 identifies one and only way to the Father, and that is through his one and only Son. We don't need another advocate, and we definitely don't need someone to tell us what we can read for ourselves. It's funny, but some, especially megachurches, are really kind of like watching a sportscast where you see a basketball player like LeBron James dunk the basketball for yourself. I mean, you see this. You know that he dunked the basketball, right? I mean, does someone need to come and then tell you? But they do. They have to tell you what you just saw with your very own eyes, as if you didn't already know what you saw, right? Oh, they do it with passion and booms, but remove all the pomp and circumstance, and you are really just being told something you already know, right? This is how it should work for us in terms of knowing the Word as well. We should know the Word, and when we go to hear a sermon in whatever format, it should largely be confirmation to us. And anything that is not, we must go out and test for ourselves. This is how we guard our hearts, lest we be deceived. And that's Yah for short, sometimes even Yahoo, but never ye, you, yo, or any other sound, not in terms of the name of God, and when he inserts his name into the names of the prophets. See, there's a precedent for this that we're going to prove out for you. And by the time we're done with the next video, you're going to see that there is no other way to pronounce this word. So again, this was merely an introduction video to the journey of our age, where we all restore the name of God in our lives. Does this matter? Shouldn't we all just focus on salvation, hold hands, and sing Kumbaya? You will never find any scripture to support that kind of thinking, but you will find we are all to progress in relationship with Him, which includes knowing His name and why it is being hidden from us, and by whom all of equal importance. Imagine you begin dating a woman or a man, and after dating for, say, 5 years, your relationship remains in the same place as it was 5 years ago. It is not progressed. And worse, let's say you have been calling her or him by the wrong name all of this time. So she sends a friend, us and others, to inform you she has a name, and it would be wise for you to begin using it in developing relationship. If you choose not to use that name at that point, how do you think she will feel? Now, and we will prove this in an appropriate example. Let's say all this time you have been calling her by the name of your ex-wife. Ouch! Would that fly? Would she be okay with that? No way. Do you really think it does for Yahuwah God? Do you think she would forgive you? Perhaps, but it would damage the relationship likely, irreparably, more than likely, right? But God is forgiving, right? Better go read the Word, because mistakes have consequences, just as it would with your fiancé. And worse than all of this, let's say in addition to calling your fiancé, spouse-to-be, whatever, the woman that you're dating, in addition to calling her by your ex-wife's name, you then go and practice traditions like celebrating her birthday on the wrong day. Do you mean well? Well, perhaps you do. But it just so happens to be the birth date of your ex-wife as well. This may sound like a simple metaphor, but when you are in relationship with someone, these things matter. And to assume they don't is rather selfish ignorance, frankly. Sorry, we call things what they are here. It is time we all wake up and realize He has a name, and restore it in our worship, because you can, and it's very simple to do. It will take time. You'll need to adjust, perhaps. We still adjust. But His name is Yahuwah. Now, we enter the real meat of this series. We will demonstrate the biblical pronunciation of this name confirmed not only in the name of the prophets, but we will show you why this is being obscured to fit a doctrine that Yahuwah is not pronounceable. Didn't we just do that? Yeah, pretty easy, right? We will prove that is not only wrong, but highly deceptive. And frankly, stupid. We warn you, we will not coddle Pharisees on this channel, but we will stand firm on the Word. And when we catch them changing something in the Word like this, and we do, we will exercise the same righteous rebuke as the Messiah did many times. Remember, love without rebuke is not love at all. Thank you for watching the Name of God series. Please share this video with others and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to click the bell and view our website at thegodculture.com. Always remember to prove all things for yourself. Yahuwah God bless.